Good morning, mob family. How's everyone doing today? So I can see everybody. Hello, hello, hello. And all right. Sure, everybody can see me. You guys can see me. I'm here. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to MoB Kaffeeklatsch episode number 105. Wow. Let me say good morning to everybody. Let's see. And the usual applies. I say good morning, but you take it to apply to whatever time zone you're in. Okay? So good morning, Connie. Good morning, Evan. Good morning, Michelle. Chris Mendoza. Good morning. Let's see. Good morning, Darren. Afternoon. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Facebook user. Good morning. Let's see who else is here. Lisa Simpson, good morning. Carrie, I'm sorry to hear you got COVID. I hope you feel much, much better. Quarantine yourself, stay indoors. Federica, good morning. Let's see who else we got. Stacy, good morning. Yes, I can see your name. Yes. But just in case you haven't given StreamYard permission, I'm going to put up the link that Chris put up for Stacy, if I can get to it, if it doesn't stop bouncing around. Let's see if that shows up. Let's see what else. Good morning, Audrey. As usual, StreamYard acting a little funky. We roll with it. Let's see. I think that's it. Oh, Linda, good morning. Okay. Go to that link, StreamYard.com/Facebook, and let StreamYard have permission to show your face, to show your name, to show your name. Good morning, Tamra. How are you? Welcome. I killed the soundtrack. Is it not dead yet? You guys still hear the soundtrack? I think it should be dead. Full house today. All right, so let me just go through the announcements real quick. Shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hello, everyone on YouTube land and out in the world. You can still hear it, really? Let me just see. Maybe it's on maybe it's do this first, and then let me do this. Let's see. I don't know if you can still hear it. It should be done. We have ghost soundtracks that just kind of hang about. Let me know. To my knowledge, I've killed the soundtracks. I don't know. I'm gonna get to the comments in a moment. As usual, StreamYard's acting funky. I'm gonna have to kill the soundtrack earlier just in case it has some lag. Come on, StreamYard, really? Jeez. Acting so slow. Let me see if I can back this up over here. And that way I can see what's going on. Wow, that took a while. Okay, let me hide this comment. All right. If your name is not showing up, go to that link and let StreamYard have permission, and it'll show your name. Hiding the comment. Well, the Bitten Peaches logo stays there in the corner. That's part of the playback. Is it still there? Oh my God, let me see. That's weird. All right, hold on. We're having technical, it's not even a technical difficulty. It's just like it's in the background somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. It's so good, it doesn't want to stop playing, wherever it is. I'm gonna try and get to see it. Bear with me. Have some coffee, tea, juice, whatever your drink of preference is. I'm gonna see if I can find this elsewhere, wherever it might be. I don't see it anywhere else. So it's gotta be connected to StreamYard. Okay, and there's nothing here. Okay, let me see if it's finally done or if it's going elsewhere. Because what would our MoB episode Kaffeeklatsch be without some technical hiccup? It wouldn't be the same. It just wouldn't be the same. So it's not on StreamYard. Is it still playing? Let's see if it's here. Oh, if it's here. It wouldn't be here. Okay. Please forward with the comments. And this is with a reboot, people. Amazing. But I'm glad you're all here. No music. Yeah, it goes to the machine. Oh, it could be there's a sound effect when I speak. The veil is still thin. I agree. Oh, I don't know what it is. My wife is Facebook user. Yes, its connection is slow, no music. Good. Oh, that's Davina. Hello. Say hello to Ayrton for me, please. I can see you, Linda. Yes. Really? That's weird. We're getting the new mic. So when the new mic comes, hopefully that will be... Peaches is staring at you. Is Peaches in the background behind me? Or Peaches is the one on the side, this one? Streamer was acting funky putting a big Peaches behind me earlier. It was really weird. But this Peaches is always there. So sounds like water. You know what that is? I'll tell you what that is. And I can't get to it right now. 1 second. Bear with me. I know. All right. This should be better. This should sound better. So we got here. This. This is over here hanging out. Got this. Yeah. Okay, that should be good. Are we good? I have a huge industrial fan behind. You can probably see it on the screen. So everything's reversed. So it should be okay. Yeah, Witcher 3. You're gonna be there for a while. So and it was on like the highest setting, so that's why it was making that kind of noise. You met Terry Pratchett's assistant Earth representative last night. Really? Are we still hearing the swishing sound? Because there's nothing in the background. Well, let me know, because I don't think we can do anything else about it except for when we get our new mic, it'll sound better. Yeah. Is it sounding? Am I still underwater? Yeah, give me some toffee crunch Oreos. You guys eat the Oreos and oh, it's when I talk. That's interesting. When I speak. Do I need to change the timbre of my voice? It could be something with the mic. So let me try muting and unmuting. Mute, unmute. And then we'll see. Okay, can you hear me now? Now I sound like a phone commercial. All right, let me know. We'll continue going. Darth Vader voice, jeez. Well, it was good for Halloween. I guess it would work. I'm sounding robotic. That's usually a product of lag. So let me see if I can change the settings on the mic. Because mic audio. Real quick. So there's really no way to test this before the episode because there's no way to hear myself when I'm doing it. So that is awesome that you met Terry's assistant. That is fantastic. Wow. That's such a great experience too. Well, if my darling wife is watching, I'm gonna have to order the mic because we can't have audio issues when we're doing the shows. So I'm gonna have to order the mic at some point. We'll discuss when you get home. Let's see, turn the mic. Okay, let's see, reduce background noise. See if we can do that. Now the vid is frozen. Okay, yeah, these are issues on connection, which means we need to really work on. I mean, the connection's good on our end, so it might be just peer-to-peer. How's it sounding now? Let me know. Okay, let me just continue. So YouTube, hello to everyone on YouTube. Thank you for being here. And everyone who's not on YouTube and you're here, please share. So we're trying to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and we're doing it. It's going up by, it's going up, and it's getting there. So just keep sharing on YouTube. We're at Bitten Peaches Publishing, and just you can find us there. Spread the word, like and subscribe, and click that notification bell, and you'll know when our shows come up. I am at the beach house. No one knows about. Shh. We're not supposed to be putting that out there. Got ocean waves in the background. There's a hammock behind me that I can't let you guys see because then really. I think it might be a StreamYard issue because the music was playing fine, and yeah, so it could be, I'm sorry you have tinnitus, Karen. Yeah. It's like I'm in a car, but you can hear. Okay, well, as long as the car would be like let's see, what car would I be in? A Pontiac GTO, then that's awesome. Yes. Okay, on Instagram, I'm at Bitten Peaches. I put up a few posts recently, but I was busy getting Entropy ready, so I haven't really been on Instagram too much. All right, this is our YouTube link. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to click on it, and it'll take 5 years to get up on StreamYard because StreamYard is prehistoric these days. I don't know what it's doing. So on Instagram, we're at Bitten Peaches, and I've been putting some stuff on Instagram. I'm going to put some more stuff up there, but like I was saying, I was getting to Entropy, which I managed to get it out on time, which is good. But it was really kind of getting out of control towards the end, and I had to really rein it in. So yeah, and a huge thank you to all the new subscribers on YouTube. You guys are amazing. We put the call out to increase it and to increase the subscriber, the group, the membership, and you guys have been out there. So I want to thank anyone who shared, and I want to thank everyone who's joined. A huge, huge thank you. We can't Kate, we can't spoil Entropy because I don't know if everyone's read it. But if everyone has, if there's anyone who hasn't read Entropy, let us know because we're gonna discuss a little bit. There might be questions about it, so I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But Entropy was really, really a fun write. I mean, wow, yeah, I had a lot of fun with Entropy. Okay, I should be in a Fiat. Get that smart car. I can barely fit in a smart car. So, funny story. You know, I'll get back to the shout out soon. My sister's ex-husband had a Lotus. I don't know if you've ever seen these Lotus. A beautiful car. It was like, wow. It's like, think of a Ferrari, but just it was just like tiny. It wasn't tiny. It was a car, obviously, but it's like it felt like it was 3 feet from the bottom of the car to the top of the car. So, Rico, we'll talk in a moment. I just read that comment. So no, Larry's Mustang was that was just I do contortions. To get into the Lotus, I was able to slide in to the passenger side. It was the getting out that was like I needed a crane to be able to get out of that car. First of all, I felt like I was on the ground. It was so low. And then to get out, it was like, oh my God, I had to it was like a workout. I had to grab parts and pull myself out, and it was insane. So a smart car would be just about as bad. Just about. Okay, so yes to the GTO. Rico, what is this John Corwin book? What is it? No, John Corwin's a great guy. I haven't read any of his works. I believe I own most of them, but I haven't read them. He's the Cthulhu guy. And yeah, huge shout out to John Corwin for his books. And I think he shouted out Mountain Strong recently. Awesome. And he shouted out Mountain Strong in one of his ads, which was really fun. Larry's Mustang was just, I had to take my leg, put it back here, contour my back this way. Yeah, Lotuses are very hard to get in and out of. Yeah. A Fiat Panda. Yeah, that sounds like no, pass. Anything that's that tiny, no. Understand that I owned a Suburban. That was like the perfect size car for me. It was a vehicle, you know? No, that's important, Rico. You have to have more than one writer, obviously, and I can't write. I've always said this to authors. No one author can write fast enough to satisfy every reader. It just cannot physically happen. So I have no issue with you guys reading other authors. I encourage it. We promote authors here. So that's something that we do on the regular. So if you find an author that you like and you think the mob will like it, please use the L3 format and let us all know. A Camaro is a beautiful car. My first car was a Camaro. I have a special place in my heart for American muscle. Not modern American muscle, because modern American muscle doesn't really look like modern American muscle. But like 60s, 70s maybe, yeah. Especially the 60s era of American muscle, yeah. Beautiful. That's automotive art. And so if you read the books, you can see that most of the vehicles are American muscle. And I jab at some in the current, I can't spoil it too much, but in the current Treadwell book, which is Shadow Queen, there's a poke at like some BMWs, and Tiger kind of dismantles them, and she goes, "What is that, carbon fiber?" So it's like, yeah. Oh, the L3 format is when you post in the mob, you type L3, then the author and the book, or the book and the author. But you have to type L3 first so that we can find it. Anyone's looking for new books just has to search L3. And L3 stands for Larry's Literary List. We're trying to destroy his Kindle. So we add L3, and it's Larry's Literary List, L3. But when you type that first, it makes it easy to find the books. It's a long list. Now I can't seem to get this Bitten Peaches publishing off because Streamer is being difficult. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, wonderful. Anyway, so Rico is Richard. Richard is Rico. Awesome. You're all over the place, Rico. Fantastic. If I could write them that fast, I would. I mean, if I could write as soon as one was done, you could have another one. But even with Monty and Strong, I can't write them consecutively like that, you know? Okay, this sounds like it's. Well, let me shout out everything. Let me get everything. I'm gonna get to this conversation because I have a post here about the entropy conversation. So, on Instagram we're at Bitten Peaches. Zaz, I'm not gonna put up any more links. I can't even take down this one. Jeez. So Zazzle, we're at M&S. So EMANDES. Oh, there it goes. Finally, jeez, I clicked that like an hour ago. So EMANDES, it's our swag store. We have some swag there. We just got a new shirt that's really cool that I gotta pick up. So go to Zazzle and check it out. It's a really good show, really good shirt about diplomacy. I think you'll like it. On Patreon, we have new patrons. So James Weed, Lizette Pilch, and Carolyn J. Evans. Thank you for being patrons. You guys are awesome. I totally, completely, and humbly appreciate you for becoming patrons. You guys rock. And of course, there's a new story coming out end of December for the patrons. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Patreon that Dolly is handling. I don't really handle the Patreon stuff except to provide the stories. But Dolly's doing like so much more with Patreon. So a huge shout out to Dolly for like Patreon and website and books and pretty much everything that's not actually writing the story. Dolly's handling it. So huge shout out to, and the signed paperbacks, that's Dolly also. So for Patreon, the tiers, the new name of the Patreon group, which is called the Magic Squad, that was Dolly. So all that stuff that she's been behind the scenes, kind of working at it and polishing and making it happen. So the new story for Patreon is coming out in December, but there's a lot of stuff happening there, so go visit our Patreon page. E-newsletter, that's Dolly, so I'm sure there'll be a newsletter out soon. There was one for Entropy. I'm sure there'll be another one out for Shadow Queen and other stuff that's happening. You know? Dolly rocks. I mean, this is like a full-time job because she's doing this and she's doing mom and she's being wife and she's being all the book stuff that's behind the scenes, so she's busy. She is busy. She's always busy. BookBub, we're on BookBub, so go follow us there. And she's trying to get BookBub deals, that's a hard one. So she managed to get one, and yeah. No, Dolly's not signing the books. I'm signing the books. Cheeky bugger. So BookBub, we're there, or just follow us and just leave a review. It doesn't have to be big, just be online. And on Binge Books, same thing, what we call Bebo. Binge Books, just join and you can add your reviews. Okay, now, what entropy conversation are we discussing, Facebook user? The one that Keeper Evergreen helped facilitate. How many obliteration onions were deployed in that chapter? Well, I don't know about obliteration onions. I don't know. Maybe that was autocorrect. But in every book, so you have to understand that as an author, when you're writing a book, when you start the book, you are gung-ho. You're like, the book is awesome, the idea is awesome, the premise is awesome, theme, everything. It's fantastic, I can't wait. And you're typing away and the story is flowing and you're getting in there. Get to the middle of the story, it starts to drag just a bit because you got to make sure that the middle is tight and it doesn't become a slog and it doesn't get boring and you don't lose readers. So the middle has to be like really, really well done, and the pace has to be, kept to a certain, how would I say it? The pace has to be maintained. When you get to the end as an author, this is the writing part. You're just like, I'm so done with this story. I'm just done. And then you want to, I always say it, this is my feeling, that you just want to unleash the world-ending asteroid. You want to pull an Armageddon, right? But there's no Bruce Willis. And you want to just unleash the asteroid at the world. It hits the planet, blows into bits, the end, right? But you can't do that, obviously, because, it's not the story. And your readers expect a story from you. And you have an unspoken contract that you're going to write the best story that you can write for your readers. But it comes to the point where you just want to drop an asteroid on everything. Just, I'm done, and then walk away. Wash your hands of it. I'm out. Bye. But you can't do that. So you strap yourself in. You do like Stacy used to say, sits flies. You sit that butt in chair, and the ending of a book is hard. The ending of a story is hard. One, because, and it varies. Like if you're writing a series, it's one thing. If you're writing a standalone book, it's a whole different thing. You have to wrap up a standalone book differently than you do a series. With the standalone book, I think it's easier because you don't have to do dual purpose. So standalone book, you just have to make sure there are no hanging threads, wrap it all up, and the book ends. With a series, you have to do a dual duty, right? Double duty. You have to wrap up the story that you're writing, but leave enough threads hanging because it's a series, and so the books have to continue. The stories have to continue. So basically, what you're doing is you're creating a scheme, right, or skein, a web that kind of it goes through all the books, and there's this theme, this underlying theme that runs through all the books. So each story ends, but they're all connected and they keep going, and that is what makes it difficult to kind of finish a series book, but then continue the series. Which is why a lot of people don't write series, because it's work. It's harder than writing standalone. It's easier to write standalones than to write series. And I know a few authors who will never write series because it's so much work. You got to keep track of everything. You got to make sure the continuity continues, right? Not to be redundant, but that there's continuity between all the books. And so when you have 3 books, that's okay. It's a little bit of work, but it's not so bad. You have 10 books, it gets tough. When you get to like 21 books, oh my God, it's like, what happened in book 2 that I gotta make sure doesn't contradict in book 20? It's crazy, but you gotta do it that way. Else, it gets picked up. We have a question today where Stacy points something out, which is really good. So yeah, you meant onions in the sense of dramatic build-up to such an emotional scene that was hard to read. Never mind how hard it must have been to write, especially regarding the book that. Oh yeah. Onions in that sense, yeah, because I lost my dog during the beginning of Entropy. Winter passed away, so if you read the beginning of the dedication, it's dedicated to Winter because she was one of the best dogs, and we lost her. She was old, and she got sick, and she lived to 12, and boxes only lived to about 10, so she was kind of past her age, and she stuck around for a little while longer, but then she was gone, so it was hard to write that part of the book and the dedication. Any moment with Peaches was tough. And you notice there were no near deaths for Peaches in Entropy because that would have been just, too much. So yeah. Okay, M&S World is one heck of an excellent world. I try to make it. Okay, so it's like I tell Dolly. So as I'm writing it, I'm commenting to Dolly because Dolly's like the first reader. I'm like, okay, if you notice what's been happening with the books, that's the beginnings of the books are kind of slow. And so it's like the beginning of a roller coaster. They're slow, and we're going up the mountain. And then once we get up to the top of the mountain, the drop, we hang out at the top just for a few seconds, a minute maybe, and then the drop, and the book is just like that. It just goes drop. And it's pretty much nonstop. There are a few pauses here and there, the twists and the turns, right? But it's a pretty much nonstop race to the end. And I have tried to change that up a bit, like in Entropy. Jesus, someone hasn't read Entropy, so I can't say. But I can say this. In Entropy, the introduction of the villain is different than other books. Put it that way. That's without spoiling. So it's different. I try not to spoil it for those who haven't read it. Okay, I'm still trying to segue into the time skip for the next novel. Yeah, there's not much of a time skip. It'll be interesting. The next novel is going to be really fun, though. It's going to be more... How do I describe it? How do I describe the next book? More of a, because I keep hearing, it's called the Mountain Strong Detective Agency, but they're heavy on the magic and light on the detecting. So the next story has a lot more detecting and magic. That's the best way I can describe it without spoiling it. Yeah. Yes, and I don't want to spoil it for Rico. Even if it's one person, I don't want to spoil it for Rico who hasn't read it because he's reading John Corwin. Which book are you reading by John Corwin? Because his books are all pretty good, I hear. So, yeah, mystery's always good. Listen, every story, I heard this a long time ago, every story is a mystery. It's just how you frame it, what context it's in, But every story is a mystery, and it's good to leave a little mystery in the books, also in the telling of the stories and what's coming next. I'm not going to give it away. Shadow Queen is where I'm in right now. I think I'm going to leave a snippet for Shadow Queen today. Yeah. I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but let's see what you say. I don't want to spoil any more of Entropy for those who haven't finished it, but you tease me. 20% out of 10. Oh, thank you. I like detecting. Magic battles are cool, but yeah. So how do I describe it? The magic battles. Okay, anyone who's been in a real fight knows that real fights don't last more than 3 to 5 seconds. A real fight, like on the street, real life. Real fights are not long things. If it's lasting a long time, something is wrong, and you're going to end up in a hospital or worse, right? The real fights are quick, brutal, fast things that you don't want to be involved in real fights. The magic battles have to be a little bit longer because it's a story, but I try not to draw them out too long, which is why I can't see your name, Facebook user. So when you write, just type "this is so and so." The magic battles, I draw them out a little longer, and I used to be accused of making the big bad battle between like Mountain Strong and the main antagonist, the bad guy, too short because in my head fights are short, right? So I've been trying to draw them out a little longer. And Entropy's fight, wow, it spanned a few chapters. It was really fun, but it was really hard to write it long, to stretch it out without it being redundant or boring. I had to make it so that there was something happening in each chapter that kind of led to the end part, So it was really good. Yeah, you can give me clues, and I can try to figure out who you are. I'm reading Shadow Over Tokyo. Oh, cool. Okay. I think I saw it's like his latest book, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. So magic battles are different from, let's say, the conventional weapon battles, like battles between blades. So I'm experienced with blades. I'm experienced with fighting without weapons. I'm not experienced with magical battles because I haven't, I don't form orbs like that. So, but I have fought with blades. I have fought with staffs, staves, if you want to be correct about it. A lot of different kind of weapons, knives, and open-handed. So I have that kind of experience. And I try to incorporate that into the battles that they have with magic. So, but it's interesting weaving them together, And so they can't be Dragon Ball Z where lend me your energy and it takes 10 episodes for Goku to get the energy to throw a spirit bomb, whatever, But it can't be like, quick, like you don't even see it happening. Like I watched the last episode of Jujutsu Kaisen yesterday, and one of the main characters was so powerful that he dismantled someone without doing anything. It just happened. Like I think he looked in the direction and destroyed someone. So that is awesome in the sense that you can see how powerful it is, but you lose something when you make it that quick. Because yes, you get, oh my god, this person's overpowered, but you also lose something of the drama of it. So yes. Let's see. I have a cast negation vortex on permissions. Is your name? Yes, your name, Mr. Awesome. Your name is here. Yes, it's Silk for sure. I see you. Welcome, Dan. Let's see. Yeah, but my idea would be more fun. Maybe we should all do that. The FBU said people can try and work out who you're talking. Yeah, no, let's not. Let's not say we did. Yeah, I haven't read any of his books. I have a few of them, Rico, but I haven't read any of them because writing, so it's a little tough. Even now, right now, what I'm reading is the Stray Dogs, so I make sure that Shadow Queen lines up properly with the Stray Dogs because Shadow Queen goes off on a tangent from Stray Dogs, and Regina comes into that story, and so it's like I have to make sure that everything that happened in Stray Dogs continues into Shadow Queen. Oh, Stacy, tell Jasmine I said hello. I know she's not here, but she will. You can say hello to her because I know she always does that when you're not here. So give her a huge hello. I feel like if you had magic battle experience, you wouldn't make it public match. I wouldn't, Lisa. That's very true. Yeah. I know Davina's here. I can't see her name, but I know she's here. So, and a huge hello to Aaron, please. And David as well, please. To everyone. Yeah. You'd be the Iron Man of magic. You're thinking that is no, because that could get you in trouble. So you want to be the Batman of magic, and no one knows who you are. Yes, we are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys listen, help us get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. You guys spread the word. Make sure you join, and we want to get to 1,000. Like put it everywhere so we can push to 1,000. That would be awesome. Would I be doing any Roxanne DeMarco standalone stories? That's a great question, and I don't think so. But I won't say never because she's such a great character. And if you saw her, I was able to dive a little deeper into her in this story in Entropy. So if you saw how she was in Entropy, you can see that she would be a fantastic lead character in any story. And you know, Haven as a setting, I could write an entire story. It's set in Haven with her as the lead, and have like the security guys there, have people come in, have attacks happen, have her deal with issues. And so, you know, I could have the whole story in Haven and have Roxanne be the center, the lead, and it would be a fantastic story. It's just that, one, making the time, having to find extra day and extra days. And two, I kind of like the mystery around Roxanne. It's going to get revealed later on because she is hunted, but I don't want to be too early with that because there are stories that lead to what to showcasing Roxanne, and there are stories, yes, leading to a short story leading to how Simon and Nichigo meet. Yes, yes. David is here too. He was smiling about the American Muscle car bit. Ethan has wandered off. Legos. Hey, Legos important. Okay, we're not gonna hate on Lego. Legos much more important than watching me talk. So, yeah, I have an affinity. My first car was a '62 Camaro. I love that car, and it was when I bought it. So I bought it so long ago. I think I bought it, almost 30 years ago, and it was hooked up for racing. So I had a NOS attachment, it had fat tires, and the body itself is fat, but the end of the car is wider. So it was a beautiful car. It was in matte black, and it flew. Like when I stepped in the accelerator, that car wanted to go fast. And that was my first car. That was my first official car that I got. And I bought it for $500. It was amazing. It was a gift, basically. So, and since then, I haven't been able to get more American muscle cars. I've owned some Oldsmobiles, which are a beautiful car, some Fords. I've bought a lot of American cars, but now I own a Honda. So, but if I could buy a car and have it completely restored, it would be the GOAT, for sure. The GOAT that you read in the books, it would be that one, because it's amazing. Can I give props to Elias and Entropy if he's tough enough for a brief mention? Yes. Elias is going to appear more. I just didn't want, again, I don't, first of all, you can't, when you have a story with too many characters, I learned this in the Warriors of the Way, and Dottie was like, I'm dizzy from all the characters. You can't have too many characters. It confuses people, right? So Elias has a mention, but he's still kind of in the background. But it's like the Midnight Echelon. If you get too much of them, it becomes like, oh my God, they're here again. So, but they were great in Entropy, right? So you want to, it's like spice. Too much spice kills the meal, you know? And yes, Chris, we're getting way too old. Like if I was in a Pontiac GTO and it was hooked up the way I would want it to be hooked up, Dottie probably wouldn't let me drive it because I'd be wanting to go fast all the time. All the time. That car is a beautiful car to drive fast. So yeah, no, it would be bad for me to. If you see me looking off to the side, I'm gonna show you why. I have one. I have a model here. So this is my model. It's a little dusty. This is my Pontiac. It's a goat, a dark goat actually. One of the Valkyries painted it. It came in light blue, and she said the car's not light blue in the book. I said no, it's a dark purple. And so if you can see it, it's a dark purple. So that is the dark goat. That's the model that I have here. And it's beautiful. Oh, and this one is like really nice. Like the doors open, the hood opens, you get to see the engine. See, it's like me with a big toy. Okay, anyway, so yeah. Yeah, the Midnight Echelon was so much fun. Let's see. I don't know how I really came up with the name. but the group. So I wanted a group of Valkyries that were like the Black Ops of Valkyrie, right? And because Valkyries are badass as it is, but I wanted a group that was even more badass. I was like, you have Valkyries, but you need Valkyries that are like just elite Valkyries, like the Black Ops of Valkyries. How would you do that? And so that's how the Midnight Echelon kind of came around. Don't ask me how I had the idea. It just came to me, and then I said, I need to have a distinct group. So you got Vi, Maul, Braun, and Nan. But for me, Nan is my favorite out of the Midnight Echelon. And that little group, because the Midnight Echelon is big, so you can have a lot more than those four. But that little group is called Nightwing, which is, I think, a pretty awesome name for a Midnight Echelon. Yes, but that's it. I can't say much more because the larger group of the Midnight Echelon is going to start appearing in other books. So yeah. So, but they're so much fun to write, and Nan especially, like how she ribs Simon about his battle cry. If I'm writing it and I'm giggling as I'm writing it, I know it's good because I'm like writing it and laughing, and Nan is saying certain things. And, yeah, it's awesome. All right, who's Sterling Moss? See, I don't know. There are things I still have to learn. Let's see, when they make a movie series of M&S, Lego can make a Peaches with a light kit for glowing eyes, for sure. Oh, and there could be a Nerf Peaches that shoots. That would be great. A Nerf Peaches that shoots from the eyes. That'd be awesome. Chris says, the last time we were in Seattle, I broke the speed record flying past everyone trying to get to the airport. Yeah, I wanted to say that the last time we drove to Vermont, here's the thing. So the Honda is fast. I have a Honda Pilot. It's fast. And then Vermont, to drive from New York to Vermont, it's about 3 hours, I think. 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours to 3 hours. But there are stretches of road. If you ever see these commercials where the car's on the road by itself and it just stretches out to forever and there's no one else on the road, that's the ride to Vermont. Is mostly like that. So there's two sides of me. One is I got to make sure the car is in fantastic shape because if we get stranded out here, we are stuck for a long time because there's no one out there. I mean, it's literally nothing. But then the other part of me is like, how fast can you take this car? How fast can you push it? And so, yeah, it's one of those things, Let's see. Okay, my briefest mention of the 20% of 10. Yeah, because when they pop up, no matter how brief for me, it's an off the seat. Yes. Yeah, I don't even want to speak to that, Dan, because that's just spoiling it. But yeah, I totally agree with you. And if you look at what that one of the person said in Latin, it makes sense later on. You gotta know your Latin. Awesome. Also, if you're sad or anxious, then those parts will, yeah. Let's see. I've had a few readers. I don't want to spoil it because Rico's here, so I don't want to spoil it. But the part where Simon and Peaches have a conversation, a lot of people were impacted by that. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Sterling Moss is a legendary British racing driver. Widely considered to be the best F1 driver to have never won the title. Wow. He was still racing into his 80s. That is phenomenal because the reflexes go. And so if he was able to do this in his 80s, that is amazing. So he was very, very gifted. Yeah. You once drove a road across a side road in Western Kansas and did not see anything for 6 hours. Yeah, I mean, on our drive to Vermont, you might see another car every few 15, 20 miles. We'll see cars. This last year when we went, it was so foggy at one point. I had to turn on the headlights and the blinkers because you couldn't see the cars ahead. There was almost zero visibility. It's crazy. Sterling Moss sounds like, you know what? Sterling sounds like he needs to mention the books from Monty's side because, yeah. Why do you feel horrible, Rico? No, don't worry about it. We do this every book. Every time we have a MoB TV, if you're feeling horrible because we have to kind of censor what we're saying, don't. Every time we have a MoB TV and there's a book that just came out around the MoB TV, it's par for the course. We don't worry about it. I'm gonna ask David to forgive me for not knowing who Sterling Moss was, but now I know, and I will research it, and he will be mentioned somewhere. So yes. Michelle, I'm sorry you have to go, but thank you so much for visiting and spending at least a few, like 10, 15, 20 minutes with us. That's awesome. It's a mini monster school and evidently attempting a coup. Oh, yeah. I totally know how that is. To waste their brains on their tablets. Yes, we fight off that revolution with the Valkyries every so often. Yes. Oh, I believe that if Monty were of the racing type, I still have to give Monty a car at some point, but that would require setting up a story and setting up. It might end up being a short story just for Monty's vehicle, which again, finding the time to do it. But I am narrowing down the amount of things that I'm writing and kind of narrowing it to like mostly just M&S stuff and M&S related stuff. So yeah. So I have to get Monty a vehicle that's fast and stylish. And of course, yes, the first thing would be an Aston Martin, because why not? It's a beautiful vehicle. But there's so many English vehicles that would be appropriate for Monty. So I have to really look at that. Something kind of off the beaten path, not the usual, Aston, DB9 type thing, or Bentleys or Jaguars, things like that. Yeah, because Jaguars spend most of their time in a garage. They don't spend much time on the road. So that's the thing. All right. Oh wow, he was that well known that the standard response was, "Who do you think you are, Sterling Moss?" That's interesting. All right, Rico says, "I'll probably forget, but when I'm reading, I will say yes." That's what they want. Yes, you will, Rico. Depends, because this one moves really fast. The story. Most of my stories move fast. This one seems to move faster than most, so you might pick it up and then you may need to reread it just to kind of catch that, catch the things again. A Morgan is a good idea. Excuse me. Jaguar's a bad guy. At least I don't know. I had a few friends in my youth who had Jaguars. They're beautiful. They're beautiful to look at, and the way they're put together is amazing. But also the way they're put together is they're so touchy and sensitive that they do need a lot of maintenance. But they're beautiful, beautiful cars. Bentleys are like tanks though. So if I can make a Bentley fast, like maybe Cecil can do something to it, give it a Sunatran treatment, make it fast and a tank. There's a strong argument for a Bentley, because a Bentley is an automotive work of art. That and the rolls, I believe, are still made. Like it's very meticulous how they're still made. So yes. Yeah, putting down. You should. I'm telling you, Don Corwin will forgive you if you put down and go read M&S. I love cars as well. If you haven't noticed with the Monty Strong books that I love cars, but yeah. Oh yeah, not many people caught that one, Chris. Come with me if you want to live. I thought I'd put that one in there. Oh, so someone asked me what my favorite Easter egg was, right? And I said, so I'm just gonna say this because I think it was I think it was you, Chris, in the last MoB episode. What my favorite Easter egg was. I'm just gonna say Princess Bride. That's every book. I think almost every book has had some reference to the Princess Bride. So yeah. I wouldn't bring back the Triumph Spitfire because I think it would get crushed in the roads today with the SUV. It's a beautiful car. Triumph is a great company, but I don't know if it would do well out in the road now. Hi, Facebook user who almost forgot. Oh, As You Wish. Yeah, you'll see. As You Wish. I haven't done Inconceivable yet. Let's see. There's so many. I mean, the whole movie is like an Easter egg. So yes, get used to disappointment. No one of consequence. I think I put it in this book too. I'm pretty sure I put it in this book. It's rare that I don't put some Princess Bride, William Goldman, something in any of the books. Yeah. Well, I was there, Chris, and that was amazing. So yeah. Country Roads, yes, because those are good. The Bentley Continental is a beautiful car. Country roads, because they're not like roads here in the U.S. where the roads here in the U.S. will destroy cars in the city. But when I drove to Vermont, those roads were beautiful for driving. It was made. They were made for opening up and just going fast. Yeah. Not yet. I haven't done ROUSs yet, but I will because there's so much material in the Princess Bride that I could slide into Monty and Strong that it's inconceivable how much there is. So I'm gonna slide an ROUS because at some point they've got to go into like a sewer system and be like, that rodent that's a rodent of unusual size or something like that. So yeah, it's if you wrap your head around it, you can have a lot of fun with the references. Okay, I'm going to hit the questions. So here we go. I can't see. I'm not going to be able to see the comments for a little bit while we do the questions. So here we go. It's 12:40 something. All right. All right, here we go. A question from, so first of all, I want to thank all of you for these questions. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the questions. Peaches Batamo, this first happened in a proper Hellhound. Has Simon forgotten? Yes and no. It has. He approached something to Batamo for sure in a proper Hellhound, and I went back and read it for reference, but it wasn't like what happened currently. So he hasn't forgotten. It's just not the same as, because in the current battle form, you'll notice that it was a change that went through Simon and Peaches. That's all I can say. So, so it's something similar, but not the same. And that's why it's not referenced in that way, because this is the first phase of what a battle form really is. So it's different, and that's why. So he hasn't forgotten, it's just that it's a little different. And the way it happened in Entropy is very different from the way it would happen in the proper Hellhound. So yeah, there was some interference by a goddess. Okay, I won't say anymore. All right, Audrey, thank you, Stacey. It's a great question. Audrey asks, what are common traps for aspiring writers? Ooh, that's a great question, Audrey. Wow. You know, I just want to know where you get all these questions, Audrey, because every week, every MoB episode, you have amazing questions. All right, here we go. Common traps for aspiring writers. Info dumps in the first chapter. Info dumps in the prologues. Having the characters mention the name of whoever they're speaking to on a regular basis. Like if I'm speaking to John, right, and I say, you know what that's like, John. I wouldn't. It's stilted conversation. I would just say, you know what that's like, because I know his name is John. I don't have to keep saying John or Peter and things like that. So when the characters mention who they're speaking to in their responses or in their statements, aspiring writers do that. Aspiring writers, because I don't really believe in aspiring writers as writers who haven't hit their stride yet. Aspiring writers also like to call themselves aspiring writers, and it gets them stuck in the aspiring aspect of writing. Just write it, get it out there, learn. Obviously, I'm not saying write without understanding the craft. You have to learn the craft, but start making progress towards writing whatever it is you want to write and getting it out into the world. If you're aspiring, I know people who've been aspiring for 10 years. You know, you can get a lot of writing done in 10 years. Get past the aspiring part and get into the writing part and getting it out, shipping part, getting it out into the world. Again, with the caveat that you have to learn your craft. But don't just aspire, because you get stuck in world building, you get stuck in character building. You know, the people who have these character dossiers and it's like 10 pages of the character. Great, you fill it out, and then you got to add more, and then but you never get to the actual writing. So you get past the aspiring part and get to the writing part and get your world out, get your writing out into the world. So those are some of the common traps. And then, you know, aspiring writers listen to a lot of advice. No one knows how to write a book. Sorry, there's no secret to it. What you got to do is learn the craft of writing, learn what works. But writing your book is something that you have to do, because no one can write your book for you. It's, you know, it's frustrating sometimes because you hear people write, you know, you hear writers who are very successful start giving rules. These are the rules to writing, and it has to be done this way. And that's not true. Every writer writes their way, period. And, you know, everyone gets to the finish line in their own way. They all get to the finish line, but some people take a mountain, some people have to go through an ocean, some people go through, you know, forest roads, and everyone goes their own way. They get to the finish line in their way, and the only way they can do it. So it's the rules. This is great. There's 3 rules, and no one knows what they are. I love that quote, because that's basically writing. The 3 rules to writing, and no one knows what they are. That's perfect. And that's really the way it is. All right, Dolly's question will be deferred because she has to go pick up the little ones from school. They have half a day, and I'm not going to answer that one for her. But the question is, if you could be one person for any one day in that person's life, who and what day? I'm going to leave that to her because that's personal to her. Okay, all right, here we go. Another question from Audrey. What advice, thoughts do you have for new authors in regards to book reviews? Okay, if you're a new author, so I'm going to try to answer this from different points of view. If you're a new author and you need book reviews, hopefully you have a group, like let's say the MoB, ask for book reviews. As long as they've read the book, and ask for honest book reviews. Do not try to form the book review for the reviewer. Just say, I need honest book reviews. That's it, and leave it there. Don't buy book reviews. Don't try to force and obligate people. Hey, I gave you a book, so now you should leave a book review. Don't do that. That comes across as a little scamming and scumming, and you might not get a good book review. And just don't stress them out too much. In terms of when you get the reviews, I always tell new authors never read the reviews, only because a new author is still kind of delicate in their career or in their journey as a writer, and negative book reviews stick with new authors. They can have 100 reviews. 99 of them could be, this book was fantastic. One of those reviews out of the 100 says, this book is trash. Guarantee that new writer will remember the one review that was, this book is trash, and forget the 99 awesome reviews. This book is fantastic. This book impacted me. Oh my God, I stayed up all night reading this book. They won't pay attention to any of those reviews, but they will pay attention to the one review that trashes, that speaks negatively. So I tell new authors not to read the reviews for a while, like maybe book 2, book 3, only because they're still kind of sensitive to what readers are saying about the book. The other thing I say about book reviews is that book reviews aren't for the author. Book reviews are for other readers. In other words, if you're an author and you put a book out, you've done what you needed to do, as long as you put out the best book possible. After that, the reviews are not for you. The reviews are for other readers that are looking for something to read. And, oh, look, this book has great reviews. Maybe I'll try that out. That's it. Whether it's good or bad, everyone has an opinion. Let it go. You know what you should be doing? Not reading reviews. You should be writing the next book. That's basically what it is. So that's really my advice. I mean, we could do a whole episode on reviews, really, because other thing is, never answer reviews if you're an author. If you see a review and it's negative and it pushes all your buttons, do not, under any circumstance, answer that review or attack that person or make it a point to straighten them out and point out how wrong they are. All you're going to do is bring yourself a world of pain. There's no need for it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's that person's opinion about your book. You're not going to please everyone. No author can. And if you ever have a day where you're a writer and you're in a bad mood about your reviews, go find some famous books and go read the reviews. You're going to find so many negative reviews of really well-known, famous authors, and they still have negative reviews. So everyone gets them. Everyone gets reviews that aren't great, and just live with it. You know what you do, how you deal with that? Go write the next book. Okay, those are great questions, Audrey. Thank you. Stacy asks, this is Stacy's time. Do you think Sebastian will ever find out that Simon can drink dragon coffee? I don't know if there's going to be that much of a crossover where Simon ends up with Char and they end up drinking coffee. But I never say never. It's always possible. Char's coffee could be lethal, but Simon is one of the few people that can probably drink it. So yeah, it's very possible. We never know. That's a great idea. Something to think about, for sure. All right, Stacy also asks, you discussed in a previous book that Cecilia's power was close to that of an archmage. I haven't seen that discussed since then, but we have talked about her power and the Jotner trials. We also met the Jotner consciousness. Will these subjects make appearances again? Yes. In various different stories, in Brew and Chew stories, which are coming in December, I'm going to finish out the trilogy of the Brew and Chew novellas. And then other stories because Cecilia, oh, I can't say that, but Cecilia's relocating, as those of you who read Entropy know. So that those things will come up again, and the trials at some point further on. Let's go through more books. Her sponsor for the trials, like the person who has to stand by her, is going to have to be Monty and Simon, and they're going to be like the ones who represent her as her instructors. So they have to be there, and that's going to be a great story because that's a whole thing happening. Yeah, I can't tell you that much more. It's a great story. There's a lot of intrigue. There are factions who don't want Cecilia to pass her trials, and there are factions who want her dead. So I can't say much more than that because then it gets into spoiler territory. But yeah. Okay. Stacy has one more question. Orlando and Dolly, what is your favorite supernatural creature? I really can't have a favorite, but if you've seen it in any of the books, that's my favorite. As for Dolly, I can't answer for her. I would say anything that I've written, but she's watched Supernatural with me, so she likes all of them. She can sit through Supernatural, many episodes of Supernatural, and she enjoys the show tremendously. And so I don't think she has any one favorite supernatural creature. I think she just likes the supernatural in general. So yeah, great questions. Thank you all for your questions. Wait, there's one more comment. Hold on, I'm checking. Chris asks, okay. It's a question by Chris Grisman. Have you ever written a scene that didn't make sense at the time, but turned out to be very important later in the book? Yes, I've written chapters that way, where the chapter felt disjointed, and like this doesn't belong in this book. And then later on, I left it, and later on, I kept writing with the knowledge that I might have to pull that chapter, and then later on, the chapter fits exactly where it needs to be in the book. It was like that, and it happened a lot with Archmage and Entropy. Those two books were supposed to be inverted in order. It was supposed to be Entropy and then Archmage. And then when I wrote the outlines for each one, I realized, oh no, Archmage has to come first and then Entropy. And so I had to switch everything. I had to switch the order, and I had to switch the outlines, and I had to switch what happened because it was like, no, you can't do Entropy before Archmage, because Entropy is the end of this trilogy. Entropy makes sense to be the end, whereas Archmage needs to be the middle. So yeah, it happens all the time. You just have to be open to those things happening. You have to be open to letting the books flow. Yeah. All right, so whatever you do, don't do an Anne Rice. I don't know what that means. Don't write vampire? I don't know what that means. Let's see. From going back a little bit to see comments. That first bad review sticks in your head. Yes, it does. It really does, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I mean, every author goes through it. You just gotta, like I always say, you gotta have rhino skin. Rhino skin is really important as an author. One of the first things you have to do as an author is develop tough skin and be able to take the criticisms. Because if you can't, your life as an author is going to be short-lived. Your career as an author is not going to last. You have to be able to deal with criticism and people saying your book sucks. If you can't do that, if you're thin-skinned about that, you're not going to be able to. This whole path of writing is basically an exercise in dealing with rejection productively and letting the rejection spur you on rather than tearing you down. You take that rejection, you transform it, and you say, you know what? I'm going to write a better story next time. And then again, if you get more reject, I'm going to write a better story. I'm going to keep writing a better story. Not to prove anything to those people, but to prove to yourself that you could write a better story. That's it. And that's basically what writing is. I'm going to make the story that I'm writing now better than the story that I just wrote. And the next story, I'm going to make that story better than the one that I just wrote. And you just keep repeating that over and over. I don't worry about reviews, really. I like the reviews only because the algorithm of Amazon likes reviews. But in the beginning, I wasn't getting any reviews. I was still writing. You just got to keep writing, you know? I don't know what that means. Whatever you do, don't do an Anne Rice. But, I mean, Anne Rice was a very, very prolific and successful author. I don't know what that means. Okay. Let's see. When Terry Pratchett sent Dodger to his editors, he was sent back 15 pages of things to change. He phoned them and said, what you meant by those 15 pages was write a better novel, and hung up. Yeah, everyone gets criticism, even Terry Pratchett. I mean, and if you want to aspire to write like someone, you can't do worse, better. How the saying goes, I mean, it would be good to be able to write like Terry Pratchett. That'd be amazing if you could pull that off, because that's a really high bar to me. You forgot to submit your question, so submit your question now. We've got time. Submit your question right now. Bye, Lisa. I know work is calling. Ask now. If you have a question, ask now. So don't feel like you can't ask it. Well, I could get his own book series. He kind of does have his own book series. If you look, he has 3 books that are his. Right? He has the trilogy. He has Iker the Cleaner, Daystrider, Nightwalker. So he kind of has his own little series. Now, if you're talking about a series like Montague and Strong, that's a lot to write in terms of just Iker. Iker, the history behind Iker, the backstory, and this is what's great, you can talk to the author, right? I wish I could do this when I was younger, speak to like Tolkien and things like that. But the history with Iker was a cameo character. He was supposed to die in that garage with Ichigo. He was supposed to die under the UV lights. That's it. He wasn't supposed to go past that. And when I was about to kill him and end his time in the story, he was like, "No, I don't think so. I think I live." I was like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me! He's supposed to die." But every time I tried different ways of killing him, like the UV lights, Michiko removing his head with the Kamikira. It was like a whole bunch of ways, and each way it was like, this doesn't really right. You can't die like this. And now you have three short stories with Iker, because he was that good of a character. And I try to write characters even. Okay, here's the thing. As an author, you should try to write side characters. I put that in quotes. Side characters that are just as good as your main characters, or just as interesting, or just as deep, just as captivating as your main character. The same thing. Yako was a side character. She's supposed to be a side character, but she's developing into her own character. That's a whole different thing. And Bug, famous Bug was supposed to be a side character from book 1, and she totally took over book 1 to such an extent that book 2, like the 3 books in the Gatekeeper series, book 2 is a Bug book, period. She's the main character. And so what I do is when my side characters get like that, I give them their own stories, like Iker, like Bug. Byako's going to get her own story eventually. If you look in the Monty Strong series, there are no real main side character, because all the side characters are just fun. But the Midnight Echelon can have a side character. Peaches has his own series, because the Brew and Chew is really Peaches' series. And Monty can have his own series. Every character in M&S World can have their own series. It's amazing. But that's how you want to write your side characters. And this is why my stories go feral, because all these side characters want to pull in all these different ways and do their own things. And I'm like, no, we're writing this story today. Okay? That's it. And they say, yeah, right. So, okay. I read the Vampire. We're almost done, because it's like almost time. I read the Vampire Chronicles up to Nemnoth, the Devil. Yeah, I think I read up to that too. But after I gave up, because it seemed that to become less character-based vampire plot, but more like reading a textbook. Yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you mean by don't do an Anne Rice. Yeah, towards the end, Queen of the Damned and Nemnoth, they were a little bit less vampire story and a little bit more historical. Maybe she thought that was a great direction to go in. I don't know. I mean, we can't ask her now because she's passed away. But that's what she wanted to do with her characters. I can't. You run a risk when you do things like that as an author. You're gonna lose readers, and that's just the nature of writing. I've always said this: as an author, you have an unspoken contract with your readers to write stories that they want to read, and to not radically change your characters to such a degree that they will stop reading without reason. So if it's a gradual progression, it's one thing. But if you're doing it really sharply and it's like one book to the next, you're going to have a lot of readers upset, like, why? Why did you do this? And so it happens. Iker is a great character. I love Iker because he's just so fun. So yeah, he was telling me to write him for sure. Yeah, now Iker's scary powerful. So if I have to write an Iker story, now it's a whole different kind of story because he's a day strider in a sense. So yeah. A good side character tries to steal the story, usually. My side characters try to steal the story, usually. Yeah. Like right now, I'm writing Cherwell Supernatural Directive. I have a hard time keeping Tiger in check because she's such a good character, you know? Yeah, it's book promo time. Okay, you just have to give me the links and put the. I'm not gonna put them up here because the stream is acting funky today. So we'll put the links up in the mob afterwards, and just put them in the chat, and I'll talk a little bit about each one before we have to go because I got looking audio updates that I can go through real quick before the end of the show. So we have Carrie's Through the Devil's Door, a collection of short stories all with the supernatural. So pre-order. It's going to be on Amazon. So the link will be in the mob after the show. So please think of Carrie O'Leary's collection of short stories. And don't forget, I'm going to preface this with, we support our indie authors, okay? Rick Gualtieri has 15 chapters for free of Time Chaser, which is up now on Royal Road. So I'm guessing Royal Road is a different program, software, where you can put up story. So the link will be up there, Time Chaser on royalroad.com. Rachel Carr has The Final Girl Part 1. I don't know that link, but it looks like it's one of her own links. So go, the link, again, all these links will be up at the mob. So go click that link and get The Final Girl Part 1. Being emotionally invested in the stock got me through, but after that, I just couldn't do it anymore. Well, yeah, the stock drove that series. Stacy, thank you so much for being here with us and your great questions. Say hello to everyone, please, and have a great weekend. Nicole Grotepas has Halo of Night, Sin and Gui, Book 2 of Duo, the Delta Underground Operatives. So pick that up because I hear good things about the duo. M.M. Crumley, she is very well known for her Doc Holliday. The House of Grays, I'm guessing this is a different story, a different series. The House of Grays, Book 1 and 2 are now available. Brand new urban fantasy series of nail-biting mystery, supernatural action, and laugh-out-loud humor. So M.M. Crumley's writing House of Graves, so go check that out and get that. So please support M.M. Crumley as well. And Carrie Ann O'Leary's book will be out the 18th of December, so pre-order, you can pre-order it. A.D. Starling, Crimson Skies, Fallen Messengers, Book 6. M.M. Urban Fantasy, for those of you who like M.M., I think Nasri Noor writes M.M. also. Under the pen name of Ava Marie Salinger. So go to click that link. If this is what you like, if you like M.M. Fantasy series, A.D. Starling is writing as Ava Marie Salinger. Okay, have a great weekend. If the puppers have to go, they have to go. I know Chris's book is coming out soon, TM. So be ready for that. And as soon as it comes out, we'll put the links out and we'll push it as well. I want to thank you all for being here. Let me do the quick book and audio update. So Entropy, if you haven't left a review, please do. Treadwell number 2, which is the Shadow Queen, or just Shadow Queen, will be out end of November. So I'm working on that one, kind of moving quickly through that one. It's not going to be a long book, probably just 50K, so 55K. At least that's what I say now. Don't hold me to it, okay? M&S 22, which is Corpse Road. It's the name of the next book, M&S 22. Early January, it's coming out. I already have the outline. That's going to be a lot of fun. Brew and Chew, we're going to have, I believe, 2 Brew and Chew stories in December. We're going to have Brew and Chew and Cold Girl. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I think Peanut enters the Brew and Chew in the second one, in Cold Girl. So that'll be fun. And we have the Patreon story for the patrons at the end of December. So if you're not part of Patreon, you're not going to be able to read those specific stories, okay? And we also have signed paperbacks online. So there you go. A lot of stuff happening. Audrey, thank you so much for being here. Have a fantastic weekend, and thank you for your questions. It's great. I guess we gotta go because we'll be here all day. Treadwell is a lot of fun to write, Richard. I'm in the middle of doing that now, and it's starting off. Wow, it's a lot of fun, and we're gonna get into the little dynamic between Sebastian and Regina. So think Luther and Alice. If you know, you know. So I want to wish you all a fantastic weekend. And thank you so much for being here today. It was great having you here. I really wish one day we could just sit down at M&S coffee shop and sit down and have some coffee. And at Peaches Con, we're definitely going to do something like this for sure. And I want to wish you all a great weekend. And the 3 Bs: be kind, be unstoppable, be uncommon, because that's the best way to be. So have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, everyone on YouTube. Don't forget to like and share, subscribe. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and you guys are awesome. Yes, Honor Poppy up again. Okay, I'm not going to look at the comments because I'm going to be here all day. So you guys, thank you so much for being here. Our next mob will be I think the 17th of November. It's the 3rd, 10th, 17th, probably the 17th of November. Yes. So have a great day, guys. Enjoy your weekend. For those of you that are in cooler, colder places, stay warm. And for those that are in nice, warm places, go outside and enjoy the day. Go touch some grass. Take care, everyone. Bye. Carrie, feel better. Those of you that are not feeling well, whether it's COVID, illness, body's aching, feel better. Bye. Let's see. Bye, Federica.